South Africa.
Shout out to Carl Wood. Shout out to Carl Wood.
It's the ever so cool Euphonic.
Yo, this is Will Clark.
What's up? This is your boy Shimza.
This is Costa from Crazy White Boy.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is James Deacon, and you're listening to After Hours with Kyle Wood.
As if we're not happy to have Kyle back.
Hey, what up, everybody? It's Jay Something, and you're listening to After Hours with my brother Kyle Wood.
People come together.
Hey, this is Franky Wah, and you're listening to Kyle Wood.
Where does one even begin when you try and describe an artist that has had the past couple of years such as he has? We are honored to welcome Franky Wah to After Hours. We chat about and we have a conversation about his music style, his upbringing to creating the signature Franky Wah sound, his mixtape, The Revival, collaborating with none other than electronic music pioneer Sasha. We chat about his brand new single off his brand new EP on Anjunadeep. The biggest release yet for him is The World You See, his collaboration with Cristoph Artche. It has been taken in under the wing from Eric Prydz on his brand new label Pryda Presents, and we also chat about the current state of the world and the connection that his music has with so many people around the globe. It is an absolute honor to speak to this man, and I really hope you enjoy this conversation as much as I did having it. This is After Hours, the Franky Wah interview. Firstly, congratulations on all the music of last year and the music thus far this year. That's been doing so amazingly well. Wherever I look, it's just...
Thank you.
It's amazing, man. So congratulations, and I'm honored to have you be part of After Hours.
Oh, thank you, man. It's an honor to be here, and appreciate it, mate. It's been... 2020 was an incredible year, albeit that we were in a pandemic and we lost all the live side of things, but I think it really sort of shone a spotlight on just how important music is to us, and it's got us through, right? There's light at the end of the tunnel now. We should all be coming out of lockdown 21st of June. Creamfields is sold out today. Have you seen?
I saw that, yes.
Yeah, totally sold out. Obviously, I'm one of the headliners there, so yeah, let's just roll on summer, man.
Yeah, for sure. As you guys head into summer, we're slowly heading into winter, but even though there's a feeling of the world slowly starting to have a bit of a mood lift, thank God.
Absolutely. And you know what? The music that I've got coming out I think will definitely resonate with that. It's uplifting. Everyone's feeling uplifted. So hopefully I'm in store for another big year, man.
And I wanted to ask you a bit about that before we get into the releases. Tell me a bit about your sound. I listen to music so intently and so much of it, and being a fan of music like I am, and being a fan of yours, I find very few artists have managed to do so well in merging breaks, house, prog, all so well together, but still somehow creating your own sound at the same time. What sort of journey did you go on, taking inspiration through that to create the sound that everybody knows today?
Yeah, good question. I think a sort of huge turning point in my career sat here in the studio that I'm filming from today. I'll give you a look round in a minute if you want. But
yeah, I'd love that.
It was for me it was really sort of following my heart, and initially sort of how I was taught to produce, and you start looking at how other people produce. There seems to be almost a lot of rules and boundaries as to what you can and can't do. Like, you make that sound, then you're coming out of that genre into another. And when things actually started really happening for me was like when I started using influences. Just imagine it like one big recipe in a pot, and you've got certain ingredients from trance, certain ingredients from techno, house, and then you stir them all up in the pot. You've got what I'd like to call my sort of Franky Wah sound. And that's where everything started coming to light for me, because I thought, do you know what? Break the rules. There's no rules. I'm going to make my sound. And ultimately, if I'm happy with it, then that's effectively the most important thing. The last thing you want, and I've done it, I've been subject to this. I always sort of advise anyone getting into music, and if I could go back and advise a younger self, I would always say make music that you like, not what you think other people like, or labels. That's what we're all trying to do. We're trying to get signed to these big labels. So we listen out for what the the sort of signing, what they're pushing, and you think, oh, I'll make something to suit them. And then ultimately, if they turn that record down, are you actually sat there with a project that you're happy with, that you can put your name on? And if the answer is no, then you're doing it all wrong. You know what I mean? So as cliche as it might sound, like it comes from the heart, this stuff, and I hope that resonates in the music. I pour a lot of emotion into my music, and that's starting to really translate now, and I think that's why people are connecting with it so much, and it's a great feeling, mate. It's a feeling I can't really explain, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and you know, with the current state of where we are now, where 2020 was, you know, there's a major connection that people are making with music, and with your music in particular, you know. And I find, you know, you create such an electronic landscape that captures so much emotional resonance with the music that you make. And I always, you know, and I don't want to get into a somewhat cliched question, but I mean, over this period where you've been able to spend some time in the studio and make so much music, have you taken a moment to realize how much of an impact your music and how much of an impact you make on any particular person at any time of the day? Yeah,
I think that happens in waves. It's a strange one, this, because I'm very. It's like a positive and a negative on my behalf, in the sense of I get so blinkered on my goal. I'm looking forward that. And it's great because that's how I'm able to make things happen. Like, I attack things in a very aggressive, almost obsessive way. Like, I obsess over music, and I'm obsessing on this vision that I've got and where I want to take it. But the downside of that is you don't often look back at sort of how far you've actually come. And I think it's happened in stages for me, that, Kyle. Like, just things like, for instance, a good example, last week, I was in for the Anjunadeep edition, the mix, and we thought it'd be a good idea to go live on YouTube and me to be there in the comments. It would premiere at 4:00 in the UK, 4:00 on a Thursday night, and it would be a great way to engage with the fans. Now, I'm sat there thinking, it's 4:00 on a Thursday night. Like, how many people are realistically interested in joining me? And we had just shy of 2,000 people throughout the mix join me, and I was just blown away by that figure. Like, and that for me then was a little moment where I thought, God, look, like, we're really sort of creating something. And I was absolutely flattered in, like, the comments, people from all over the world, South Africa as well.
Yeah.
People from all over, man. It's crazy, and I think little stages of like that in my career are sort of like, you have these little epiphanies where you're like, wow, like, I was genuinely happy, just sat plodding away in my studio, making nice sounds, showing my friends who are mad about electronic music, oh, look what I've made today. And bit by bit over the years, it's just grown onto a bigger scale. So now I'm not just sharing it with my close circle of mates, like, we're sharing it with the world. So yeah, that, I hope that answers your question. Like, I think that's very important as an artist as well, you know, like, if you're getting into it, like where I'm at now, it's great having this massive engaging audience and fan base, if you like, but you've got to start this from the ground up. Like, you've got to be happy just showing your mates these records. Like, that's where it all comes from. That's the passion. That's the ambition. Do you know what I mean?
You're talking about starting from the ground up, but let's talk about the Haunted EP, and that's you know what, this EP has been. I've kind of annoyed some of my friends, you know, because I've played it so many times. so I really want to just discuss, firstly, on the surface level, as you said, you know, you really put a lot of emotion into your music, and that EP speaks for itself. But I want to discuss how it came along to working with Sasha. Such an iconic name and pioneer in electronic dance music.
Absolutely, man. Like, I think if you was to make a statement of saying, you know, he's one of the top 3 guys in the scene, there's not a lot you could do to argue otherwise, is there? Like, he's iconic. So you imagine me from a little village in Yorkshire with a population of about 800 people, all of a sudden has got the attention of someone like Sasha. Like, this is how sort of our friendship began, because it's like it's a good friendship now. Do you know what I mean? And that's what music has done. He heard Get Me High, which was I released January 2019. He supported that heavily. There ended up being, if you check the internet, you'll be able to find it. There was this video that almost went viral. It was him closing Fabric in London with it, and the vibe was just insane. I mean, I've said it before in an interview, I'll say it again, but how the Sasha audience is very unique. Have you ever experienced Sasha live?
I have. When he was here in South Africa quite a few years ago, I did, yeah.
Right. So for me, I've seen him only twice in the UK, but the audience that he brings, there's a very unique vibe and atmosphere to it. A different energy that I've experienced. Like, I'm getting goosebumps now. So how the reaction he got playing my record is totally different to how it reacted when I played it. Do you know what I mean?
For sure.
So I seen this video playing, and then I listened to his mixes religiously, and every release, like, he was playing my songs in his release, so in his mixes. So like, his support really helped sort of getting my name out there. And one particular night, a month before we went into lockdown last year, I decided to go see him at Warehouse Project. I thought, I want to see this in person. So I went to meet him. I met him backstage. And when he met me, because we'd not met in person before, I was like, I had to interrupt this big circle of people talking, and there was so many people there. Like, Youssef was there.
Oh my God.
I had to stand there in this circle and wait my turn to talk. And I just said, "Oh, Sasha, I'm Franky Wah." And he went, "Franky!" He hugged me. And the reaction was just incredible. And
that's
2 days
surreal.
later,
That
mate,
is surreal.
Oh,
man.
it was incredible. And then he, if you check my Instagram, you'll see that I posted a video. He closed Warehouse Project with Get Me High, and then 2 days later, I had some stems in my inbox, and that was it. Like, we was just bashing tunes out. I mean, there's more. I don't want to dangle the carrot too much, but like, the reaction was so good. I mean, every track from the EP was number 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the Beatport charts. We're still number 1 now, I think, nearly 10 weeks on. So the reaction was so strong, and I think because we share a very similar audience and fan base, I think that it would definitely make sense to do this again at some point, because there is more music, you know, like, we didn't just make those 4 records, there is more.
You know, when I first saw that EP come out, it was only after seeing the two names together, I was like, it's actually such a great pairing, because like you said in the beginning, like, where the inspiration's drawn from, Sasha also comes from a history of so many different styles of music, and it all comes together in this pot, like you said.
Yeah, man. You know, he's seen it all. So he's been through, God knows, he's traveled through so many genres. So it was this is the thing with collaborating, because Sasha was my first collaboration. So it's kind of hard to know how it's going to go, right? Yeah. Because you assume a collaboration comes about because obviously you're going to have, hopefully, styles that gel. But it doesn't always work like that. But it was a very enjoyable process and felt very organic, if you know what I mean. And I think that's how it should feel. I mean, the Cristoph release, which I'm sure we'll get onto, the Cristoph collaboration, was easier again. I mean, flipping it, it's like we talk the same language in the studio, me and Cristoph. It's a very easy process. I feel like me and Cristoph, if we sat together for a month, we'd come out with a track every day. Like, it's
you
know what I mean, a very easy process.
How was the collaboration we should have seen it coming? Firstly, being on Anjunadeep, and then secondly, you know, a lot of people generally in the industry and being outside of the industry consider a producer someone who makes the beats and doesn't really put emotion into the music, which is quite the contrary here, you know. And when there's a vocalist in the track, it's always kind of assumed that the vocalist had more to do with the emotion and more to do with the record than what the producer actually does, you know. And the music prior to this release spoke for itself that that's definitely not the case. How was it working? I mean, apart from any of the instrumental music that you've released in the past, how was it working on this particular track to create this kind of picture? Yeah,
it was good. And the vocal, it was very, very, very enjoyable. I don't know if you caught because I was on Radio 1 with Annie Mac the other week. She was asking about it because she made it a hottest record, and she was saying basically she wanted to touch on how it came about. And I had a dry a cappella forwarded on to me from my manager, and it came through with a bunch of other vocals, and it came from, so she's actually managed, Atho is actually managed by the same manager as Kolsch.
Oh wow, okay.
So this is why there was a little bit of to and from, because my manager has actually dealt with Henrik, Kolsch's manager, in the past. So he obviously heard something in this vocal that was suitable for me, so he wanted me to hear it, and I heard it. And I mean, let's say it came to me on a Thursday night. Well, Friday afternoon there was a version back over, and it's the version you're listening to now. That project has never been opened, never been amended. I just heard all the melodies straight away, and because it is, if you do sort of study the lyrics in depth, it's very deep, very emotional, and I just sort of really connected with it and resonated with it. So I could hear the melodies straight away. I just went straight to the studio and was like, boom, there we go. And I wasn't even totally sure what direction she would like to take it in. I try sort of having a little look through the background of her, but I couldn't find her anywhere. She was really anonymous. So I do what you're supposed to do, really. You take it exactly where you want, and that's what we did. And they came back instantly and was like, wow, this is incredible. So then we sat there with this record that we're like, right, so where does this sit? What do we do with this record? Is it a single? And in the meantime, I've got this EP that I'm putting together for Anjuna that's got all the other records on, 91, Boundaries, and The Last Stand. Yeah. So Phil and I, my manager, thought it'd be a good idea. We thought this is very sort of Anjuna-esque. We sent it to them. They came back, was like, whoa, this is huge. This is the lead track of the EP. Boom. And it was like that. And I think that's what you need with those sort of, dare I say, special records, without obviously talking my own project up. It does feel like it's got that. You need those things that just click. Everyone talks about these hits, like how Camel Fat Say Cola was written in less than 3 hours. This was similar. It's like they have to click, and that's how it generally works.
It's amazing how that actually tends to happen. A lot of the time, whenever I've spoken to any artist about big tracks that come together, it generally is over a couple of hours.
Yeah, and it happened.
And that's crazy, because then you kind of get into the state of mind where everything just flows, and you get it done.
Absolutely, man. You do just get them days, and as sort of accomplished I am in the studio, you still get them horrible days where you can't tie anything together. But it's all worth the while for those days where you have the magic. Every sort of sound you flick on, you're instantly there. The melodies just come straight away. You get them. So similar to The World You See, really. Again, I'm quoting the Cristoph record, but that was very easy.
Yeah,
easy record.
I actually want to speak about that, because it was a week ago that we actually had kind of part one of this, and it actually, and that's when I texted you, I'm like, actually, you know what? It's actually so much better that we managed to do it a week later after this big announcement dropped.
Everything happens for a reason, right? Everything happens for a reason. Now we're able to discuss Eric Prydz, Pryda, Cristoph.
Dude. Wow, that is insane. Firstly, the teaser's just
how's that
epic.
Video for
it
you,
is
man,
just so epic, man. Jeez, I had people sending it to me going, see this, and I'm like, well, you wouldn't believe who I just got off the phone with.
Yes.
So, dude, tell me about that, because that is massive. That is absolutely huge.
Oh, mate, it's still all a shock. Right, so let me think. So I did an AMA around April, May time. Yeah, May time last year, April, May. So I did this Ask Me Anything on my Instagram, and you're getting various questions, but one of the most consistent ones is, when are you doing a collab with Cristoph? When's Chris, surely you and Cristoph need to do a collab. And because it popped up so much, I was thinking this maybe needs to happen. So I decided to just repost one of them on my story. And I tagged Cristoph with some eye emojis. And he pinged back saying, I'm game, mate. So that's how it happened.
Wow.
And yeah, thank you. I maybe need to find out who it was, don't I? And give them a shout out on a signed vinyl, who the person was that I decided to repost. So that's how it came about. We've got other records as well, man. So
Jeez.
Get ready.
Man, I can't wait. That's insane. And was this also back and forth, or do you stay close enough?
No, it was. Let me think how it went. Cristoph sent it over. Him and Archie. Archie actually lives. The vocalist on it, Archie, actually lives about 10, 20 minutes away, I think, from Cristoph. He says, "Look, I've got this project. It's massive. Do you want in on it?" I said, "Send it over."
Send it, yeah.
he sent it over, and I was like, "Oh, mate, I can definitely add something to this." So he sent the stems over. I did my production on the record, and then we have this finished project that just feels right. And then next thing is like, oh, Eric, he's going mad about this record. Like, God. Eric wants to sign. I'm like, come on. And next thing you know, fast forward, they kept that video quiet. We didn't really know. Well, I didn't know that was coming. Next thing, Mick, Eric and Cristoph's manager just goes, check this.
Oh my
and there's
God.
this mad robot walking through the desert. And I was like, whoa. This has just took the record to the next level.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, at what point did you receive that? Because I saw there was like, okay, there's some big news coming in like 6 hours. Was it at that point you got the big news?
No. So at that point I got the news that we were going to announce it. So okay. I wanted to sort of drum up a bit of interest. At this point, then the video was maybe 5 to 7 days old, and I'd probably watched it 300,000 times at this point. The World You See, it's out this Friday, the 26th, on Pryda Presents, which is obviously Eric's label, and we're all just sort of, we've got a great feeling. We're all absolutely buzzing about it, and you've obviously seen the reaction it's had online. Like it's reacted well, and it feels good.
Say no more. Say no more. I'm just excited to see what's more to come on all these collaboration levels that you've mentioned, and it's like, yeah. As you say, dangle the carrot. It's like, all right, no, I've got you. Man, I'm so excited about that, I must be honest. And what's quite funny is that should have seen it coming prior to that, come together. Now, The World You See, these titles are all kind of interlinked in one big story, don't you find? It's quite strange.
Absolutely. And do you know what? And this wasn't intentional, but if you go and check out The Revival, which is obviously my mixtape from last year.
Yeah.
So my friend pointed this out to me. It almost makes sense. So parallel universe, fly in this world, we come together, we don't be lost in time, you're not alone, the first light, oscillate tomorrow on the horizons, cry no more, I'm waking up, it's green and gold.
Yeah.
I don't know, it kind of made a sentence. If you put a few letters words in between, it kind of flows into some sort of hidden meaning. But
this is it. I only picked out 4 titles to discuss in this interview, and while doing so and doing the prep, I'm like, damn, this is all like one bigger picture, and each point that we touch on is a little chapter of it. It's crazy. And then again, in your mixtape, that's amazing. It's like a subconscious level.
I think there's absolutely no coincidence, though, that I always want there to be a message. Like, I want there to be some substance to the music that I'm putting out. Like, I want you to think, I want it to take you away from the day-to-day rubbish of life, and I think you're able to do that when you pour some emotion into it and you give them something to think about. And that's, like you say, the world you see, should have seen it come together. Like, this is what it's all about. Like, we're stronger together. That's the world I see.
Certainly. Oh man. So in 1 week this happened. Next week, what are you going to be telling me then?
Oh God. I've got 2 really exciting collaborations happening, but I can't really say them yet because they're not totally over the line. But when they are, I'll be sure to let you know. But it's good. It's big.
Oh man, that's amazing.
And then following on from this, I've got what I believe is a really huge single coming out with Ministry of Sound, Sony. Probably around a month, 6 weeks away. I mean, I said it to Annie the other night, like I'd release music every week if I could, but
yeah,
you've got to let everything breathe. I'm buzzing, man. I'm so buzzing.
Well, man, Franky Wah, I have to just say thank you again for taking us around and just diving a bit into your world and running through some of the records with you. And I really hope we can keep in touch as things go along.
Absolutely. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for having me, and the support, massively appreciated.
Franky, Luke, I really, really and truly appreciate it.
I look forward to hopefully meeting you at some point.